Hi, it's Bruce Robinson here from the Fathering Project. We're doing a series on raising daughters at the moment. I thought I'd just talk for a few minutes about that. And I'll begin by saying something that happened about 2 streets away from here. I was getting my hair cut, and I'm not really a chatty person, but this woman was cutting my hair. She's about maybe in her early 30s. And I said to her, would you mind if I asked you a question about dads and daughters? I'm writing a book and you don't have to. She said, oh, I was actually just thinking about it as I was cutting your hair. My dad was a fantastic dad to my brother. They did everything together. We had a racehorse, and at 5 o'clock in the morning, he'd come and get my brother and they'd go and train the horse. A lot of time together. They're very close today. But the problem is, you never spend any time with me. And she said, it's kind of sad because mum and dad are separated now, and once a month dad invites me to join him for lunch. But we don't have anything to talk about. It was my brother that had lots to talk about, but he never bothered with me. So we have very little to talk about. So I don't really look forward to those lunches. And then she said something which I thought was deeply poignant. She said, you know, I bet at 5 o'clock in the morning, when he came to get my brother to train the racehorse, he thought I was asleep, but I wasn't asleep. I was lying there in bed, wishing and waiting and hoping that once, just once, he'd take me instead. Very poignant moment. Daughters need their dads just like sons do, but dads don't know quite what's important for fathering daughters, raising daughters. Well, let's remember there are 3 things. One is they learn from their dad whether they are beautiful, not pretty, but beautiful inside and out. Secondly, they get confidence from their dad. Does dad believe in them? Does he put them down, or does he ask for her opinion? And thirdly, and importantly, she learns about how she can expect to be treated by men. And it's going to affect her in her relationships with men for the rest of her life. It's said that the number one factor, the most powerful factor in a woman being able to have a long-term relationship with a partner is the relationship she had with her dad. So dads is very important. And I'm so glad, again, for the Fathering Project, things I've learned about that with my daughter Amy. And just to pick one example, I was wanting to do dad dates, which is a Fathering Project idea, but she was too busy, and she rang me one day and said, Dad, what about that dad date? So I got my diary out and I said, when do you want to do it? She said, now. I figured this is about a boy, and sure enough, we went out a hamburger. And I said to her, now, Amy, 2 things. Firstly, is this like I just listen to you and don't jump in and solve the problem like 99% of dads always do, including me? Just listen, be empathic, or do you actually want my advice? I'm happy to do either. She said, I want your advice, Dad. Anyway, she told me about this guy. I'd never met him. I gave her 4 reasons why I didn't think he was the right guy for her. She took no notice of me. Nice young guy, dated for a couple of years. Details don't matter. But I was so grateful that she rang me, and because we'd developed that relationship and I was able to help her as a man through that part of her life. One other thing, I took my daughter out for the father-daughter sex talk. Another thing the Fathering Project suggests. I tell you what happened. We just laughed all night. Half the night we laughed. It was a great opportunity to talk about words like respect. But honestly, it was just great fun, and I'm so glad I did that. And so is she, I think. Anyway, dads, don't underestimate how important you are in the future of your daughters. Focus on raising daughters, not just sons. Thanks for listening. Talk to you again soon.